it really does help inspire me to go, wow, I didn't realize that's where I was. That's why I felt that way too. Now going, oh, that looks like me now. And before I know it, I'm sitting in front of you talking about how far I've come when, not long ago, I feel like I was reading other people's blog posts going, oh, wow, that's amazing. Happy to say there's no way I would have thought I would have got to where I am in the time frame, let alone maybe ever. Yeah, say that from the bottom of my heart, like it really has helped my family and my business and wouldn't have been possible without your expertise and guidance along the way.
So I am joined today by Aaron Joy. Aaron is a tech startup founder. He's a husband, a father, and he's been with me working in Empowered Man for about 9 months now. So Aaron has had some great success over the course of 9 months. He's dropped a heap of weight. He's dropped about 16 kilos, I think, all in. Body fat percentage has dropped a significant amount by about 10%, I think. We've increased his VO2 max. We've improved his overall fitness. A whole host of positive changes to his life and his fitness. So today I thought I'd ask Aaron to talk a little bit more about that journey, not just the physical transformation and the results he's achieved, but more so how that journey looked like. So Aaron, thank you very much for joining me today.
No worries, and thank you so much for a wonderful introduction.
No worries at all, you've earned it. So why don't we start by rewinding a little bit? Let's go back 9 months before we started working together. What did life sort of look like for you then? Where were you sort of physically, mentally? What was the picture?
Yeah, so back then I'd been recovering from an ACL surgery that sort of hurt when I was out riding mountain bikes. Great sport, but does have some downsides
Yeah,
occasionally.
I forgot to mention
I
that in
was
the intro.
no, that's all right. Um, so I was doing a bit of gym. So I was still physically active, which was good, but I just wasn't hitting some of the milestones or getting in the flow that I used to be in some time ago. Uh, and I guess that's on the physical side, but like mentally, as I'm sure people can appreciate, running a business these days is hard, mentally challenging. I have two very wonderful teenage daughters, which daughters alone, let alone teenage daughters, definitely keep me on my toes. And so, like day to day business, family, it's a lot to take on, and just having that mental capacity to just be consistent. Like I'd happily go out, get out on the bike and go for rides with people, happily go out into the gym in my shed, but having actually, consistently doing it, like I could say, yeah, I did some gym last week, so I didn't really have, I guess, a plan really. um, and I was sort of plodding along, which is why I sort of was hoping to, you know, get something a bit more structured from where I was back then to where I am now.
Yeah, okay. So in terms of where you were sort of physically back then,
Mm.
how did you feel sort of within your body?
Yeah, pretty sluggish, really, is probably the best way to describe it. Like I wasn't who I thought I could be, um, and I probably wasn't taking care of myself as well as I should have been, given, like I say, supporting a family and business and the people that work for me. I want to turn up and be the best person I can,
Yeah,
but that definitely didn't feel like I was achieving that, which was a shame, and why I wanted to sort of work on that.
yeah, okay. So what then led to you making that decision, and obviously reaching out to me?
So I guess running a small business when I'm not a strong finance person, so we have an accountant, we go to an accountant, we need some business advice, we go to people. So why not for my body, why not for my health and well-being, go to doctors? So again, I just saw it as I don't have that expertise. I was happy to admit that I needed someone who did. And that's where I was recommended by someone else in small business, as the Rob yourself could, provide that framework and that structure and that guidance. And again, it just took what I was hoping for was it would take away that mental gymnastics to try and fit things in and make sure I hit the markers, or
Yeah,
what was the right thing, and just get rid of the noise for me
yeah.
to get to the point.
So
So
eliminating some of that guesswork and some of that decision fatigue that you're getting all the inputs from running the business,
mass-
managing the family, and everything else. Just sort of outsourcing that and allowing me to come in and take care of that for you.
massively, that is still to this day um, one of the main benefits and reasons why this has worked out so well for me is I I know that it's in hand, just like finances in a business. I know this is a program. It's not going to wear me out too much. I can still function in the rest of my activities. I can still be present in the family. It hasn't taken over my life and I've become this fitness person. It's more, there's now a place and a time for it and it's scheduled in and I'm accountable for it, like
Yeah.
most things.
And that's so important as well, right? It hasn't taken over everything else within your life. If anything, it's probably added to it. Is that what you're saying?
Most definitely. I think the way I would say it also is it's just made my life more efficient because the time I actually now spend on my health and fitness is paying dividends across all the other facets of my life rather than I'd take so much time and effort to work out what I was going to do. And then probably what I was doing now in hindsight really wasn't efficient at all compared to the programs that you've been able to schedule for me. And then the nutrition and the approach that you've taken has given me, more time in my day when I thought I'd actually lose more time going to something like
Yeah.
this, which is again one of those just random events of you don't know until you have a go.
Yeah.
Um,
So before you did get into it, did you have any sort of doubts or concerns in terms of what to expect from the coaching?
yeah, look, initially I think I was worried with the remote nature of it for me, where I am. That was probably the initial concern. I was like, how am I going to do these gym programs remotely? Doesn't someone have to watch you? So initially, that was one of the things. And the other one was how strict I have to be about my food or the activities I'm doing, how flexible it would be. But as we worked through all of those, not even issues, it was so easy to, I guess, get onboarded to the app that you have. The examples and the feedback is, so helpful that it sort of was a non-event for all those sort of issues that I initially thought would be a problem.
Yeah.
Uh, which was, yeah, again, the process was a much more natural than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. So maybe like not having that understanding of what an online coaching program or system could actually look like and how it could help you. But as soon as we sort of got into it and you sort of understood the processes and the systems that we had in place, yeah, it was pretty easy to get up and running.
Yeah, so easy. Like I say, I keep going back to that efficiency side of things. You know what you're talking about. I can trust that you've done that research for me. So I've sort of outsourced the problem of knowing I should do this in the gym or focus on this on the bike or these foods are fine. These ones probably stay away from or these ones just sometimes. But getting back to even just the basics of drink water, sleep,
Yeah,
walk. um, it's the simple things that make the biggest differences over time. And that's, I think, what has come through over the time that we've spent together is just realizing don't forget the little things because they actually make probably the biggest difference once you get them right.
yeah. So let's talk about the actual journey itself then. Once we got into it, obviously I did mention at the start there that you've made, pretty significant progress and some of the numbers that we've seen. Tell me the process of how that happened, how you felt that happened, and the sort of impact that it's had on you now.
Yeah, it wasn't how I thought it would. It all sort of snuck up on me a little bit because I just was getting in the rhythm and it just all became a habit. So it wasn't until we'd have the check-ins and realize, oh, hang on, or you'd show the before and after photos. And I hate photos, let alone ones where I'm showing, let's just say, my physique.
Yeah,
um, but you helped me get over that, and I'm so glad that you encouraged me to do it because having that reference point now, it really does help inspire me to go, wow, I didn't realize that's where I was. That's why I felt that way too. Now going, oh, that looks like me now. That's who I think I should look like.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think, that part of the journey was unexpected. Um, I think I didn't really realize just not the little effort that I needed to put in, but just the tweaks that we could make. Uh, that's one of the things that surprised me of the sort of journey we've taken from just starting off small, changing a few things, building up those habits, to then, as I got hold of those things, then increasing that gym, and then doing different things on the bike, and then it was just stacking those habits one after another, and before I know it, I'm sitting in front of you talking about how far I've come when, not long ago, I feel like I was reading other people's blog posts going, oh, wow, that's amazing how that person's done that. How could they do that? But it is just those literally one step in front of the other to get that step count up, get to bed on time, drink the water. It makes such a big difference in allowing you to do the bigger things.
Yeah.
Um,
So it was almost difficult for you to see yourself in that light back then, but now you're the guy that's telling the story.
Yeah, happy to say there's no way I would have thought I would have got to where I am in the time frame, let alone maybe ever. I like my mindset back then versus my mindset now has completely shifted. Even the goals that we set in our initial discussion are quite amusing to look back onto where now I passed them without knowing we were talking about VO2 max before in my intro. And that was one of the things I thought I could use as a metric for my mountain biking. And I well surpassed what I said as a number we were going to try and hit. And I hadn't noticed because I was just out enjoying riding more. It was just purely a byproduct, a really good byproduct of that journey. So it was
Yeah.
actually our check-ins that made me realize, oh, hang on, we
Yeah.
did hit that
You
milestone.
exceeded that goal. Yeah.
Yeah, which
So
was,
yeah, just tell me more about that. Then obviously we set some numbers. What were those numbers at the start?
I think initially it was around 45, um, and then recently we've had to change it up a lot more now. Again, I went and got some actual testing done just a baseline, and I think we ended up around 54% for my age group,
Yeah,
which was, yeah, I was blown away.
seriously impressive.
Um,
And
and
that the best thing about that has come as a byproduct of you just doing the work, but not just doing the work, just being out there and enjoying yourself on the bike as well, right?
Yeah, I think the enjoying myself on the bike and then how you've been able to complement that with the gym side of things and just the recovery. I think I can definitely say I was getting that wrong. I think going too hard and then pushing again, just thinking I've got to keep pushing harder and harder. In actual fact, most of my rides now I come away going, oh, I could keep riding. But the benefit of coming away feeling like that is means the next day I can do gym and build on those muscle groups which then allow me to go for a ride the following day. So again, taking that guesswork out of can I, can't I, shouldn't I, has allowed me to punch through those milestones without noticing because I
Yeah.
was expecting it to hurt, like really hurt, but it didn't. It just naturally got there over time, which was
Yeah.
nice.
And what I think is important there for you as well, it's not a case of, right, this is the goal. I reach my goal, and there's a big sort of congratulatory process. You've almost reached your goal without knowing it, and you've continued, and now you've set loftier goals for yourself, right? So what's the future hold in terms of what we're working towards now?
Yeah, like it's a really good question because I've really had to extend myself in my own thinking to catch up to where I am. So the first one is just continuing to cement what I've got. I think like we could talk in terms of numbers. I'm really now keen to try and go for 15% body fat. I had a DEXA scan, and that came back around the 19%, which again blew me away. So I've had to readjust my expectations of what's possible,
Yeah,
which is a fantastic place to be in. But really, for me, it's just continuing to make this who I am, as a normal thing, not a oh, I'm doing it because I'm on this program, but more like, no, no, I enjoy this because it allows me to do and continue to do the things I like doing when I want to do them and how I want to do them. I can go rock climbing when a mate rings me up and just enjoy it and have a chat and not be worried like, am I going to be able to scale the wall? Can I last more than half an hour? It's just, I can go do those activities and enjoy life more without having to have that worry.
Yeah. And you feel like you're doing that now?
Most definitely. I can, like I say, go out and go for a ride. And one of the random goals I had was to ride out to this lake, which I think was like an 80K return trip. And so for me, when we started out, that just seemed like such a lofty sort of goal to go for. And then one day I was out riding and I went, oh, I'll just go a little bit further, go a little bit further. And then I think I ended up sending a photo back to yourself about like, I got to this lake and back. And again, so now that's sort of almost become one of my riding tracks I get to do once a month. So I think a lot of it is just I can do the things that I want to do and I'm not getting held back. Whereas previously I was getting held back, but probably didn't realize what was holding me back.
Yeah. And more than about sort of, I think you touched on it, like creating that identity of somebody that is just now able to go out there and do the things he wants, sort of at the drop of a hat without even putting any real thought into it, just being able to get out there and hit 80 Ks on the bike, like you say, go rock climbing,
Yeah.
building the identity of somebody that is fit, strong, capable, healthy, and just lets nothing get in his way.
No, that's it. And I think really what I've learned is I really should and continue to take care of myself so I can take care of others. I think is where I've got to in this journey is um, I really want to be that identity so that people can feel like they can come to me and I can help them too. I can support them either in my business or at home or with extended family because I am healthy and ready. I'm not worn out, stressed, tired, already capped out.
Yeah,
I'm ready to go if I
you've
need to
got the
be.
energy and the capacity.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. And not just the physical sort of aspects that we spoke about, we've also had some blood work done recently as well, right?
Yeah, so I think one of the things I'm being in the IT industry, you like metrics and businesses driven by metrics. So why not do it for your body? And that's been fantastic seeing the results come back and have that tangible proof that yeah, it looks good in the mirror, but how's actually what's going on behind the scenes? And having that blood work done also sort of blew me away of all the nutrition and the effort has actually paid off. And the responses from the doctors, they were like, "Whatever you're doing, keep doing it." So it's like, okay, no problem.
Yeah. So not just the aesthetic and the visual and the energy, it's what's going on beneath the hood, and some really positive improvements across a lot of those markers.
Most definitely. And now having those markers and that benchmark, I don't want to go backwards. So that's going back to that part of my identity. I've got those metrics there to help guide me to know, you know, life happens, but at least I can know what I'm giving up and what I've had now and what's possible. It's no longer a maybe or a what if. It's like, no, I can do this with the right support. It's totally possible.
Awesome. So out of all the positive outcomes that we've just spoke about, what would you say is the one thing that you're most proud of?
Oh, that's tough. I, I, I just think probably the most thing I'm proud of is I actually gave it a go. I think for me and maybe for others, it was really getting to that point, realizing uh, getting over that hurdle of like it's okay to get someone to help you out with all these facets of life. We can't know it all. We all have expertise in other areas, and so I think I'm proud that I actually took that first step
Yeah.
and made that commitment not only between us but also to my family. And I let them know I was doing it, and they were really supportive to the point as a bit of a joke, we have Steve the Scales, who helps out, comes out occasionally. But really, it was when I talk to most people, it's like I'm proud that I actually did something for me, which has ended up helping my family and my business by looking after myself.
Awesome. So just taking the action, maybe getting over any concerns or doubts that you had. And, I think it's difficult for us as men. Sometimes we just put our hands up and say, I need help with this thing, whether it's a little bit of an ego thing, but just, saying, right, I need some help with this. I'm going to go out there and trust the process, do the work, and now you're reaping the rewards for it.
Most definitely, like that is probably, like I say, that hardest step is just signing up and going, I'm going to commit to this and give it the time it deserves. I think that's a lot of the noise out there that I found hard was everyone had a solution and it was
Yeah.
always going to be quick. But realizing that, no, this is a process that may take someone 2 years, may take someone 3 months, but it's their journey and their way to get there. Um, so yeah, I think that's really the key.
Awesome. So if there was a man watching this who was in the same position that you were in 9 months ago,
Mm.
what's something that you'd like to say to him?
Look, just commit. The worst thing that can happen is it may not work out and you might find a different method and approach, but just try. Uh, and it's amazing what's possible and just give it time. There's no quick fixes in life. No good things come quickly. And yeah, you'll be hopefully staying on the other side of the screen, having this conversation too, I hope. And that is generally why I wanted to do this is to give people um, hopefully the nudge like what I needed to commit and be a healthier you, really.
Awesome. Well, I do appreciate it, mate. Thank you so much for making the time and coming on and sharing that journey with us.
Yeah, no problem. And really, thank you for all the assistance. I, yeah, say that from the bottom of my heart. Like, it really has helped my family and my business and wouldn't have been possible without your expertise and guidance along the way. So
My
thanks.
absolute pleasure, mate. It's great to have you on board.